Okay, so now that you guys have the basics down of what it takes to set up a Facebook campaign, you can see it's not that complicated. I wanted to make a video on a few pointers I have for getting the best ROI on your advertising spend. So, our return on investment, ROI, is just the revenue divided by the ad spend. So, if we got $500 in sales with $100 in ad spend, it would be a 5x ROI, 500 divided by 100. So, how do we increase ROI? There's two different ways to do it. We must either increase the revenue without increasing the ad spend, or we get the same revenue while decreasing the ad spend. We are going to do both. Let's start with the second option, getting the same revenue while decreasing the ad spend. Basically, what this means is we need to get leads at a cheaper cost. To do this, we need to make a better offer to our audience, something that is more enticing and worthy of their attention. Remember, better offers equals more leads. Here's an example of two similar but very different ads. This is an ad for a place that serves tacos. Now, it's a great picture, but there's a problem. There's no offer, and there's no call to action for the viewer. So while this image looks really good, it's not really giving me what I need out of an ad. So let's try this again. Bam. Buy three, get one free. There's your offer. Stuff like this works, trust me. People love their food and they love getting any sort of deal. If you want some even lower lead cost, you can get a little crazy and buy three, get three free. Now, obviously, if you go to this extreme, it's going to cost you more in the kitchen. So make sure you find a balance that makes sense for your budget. But do not be afraid to break even or even lose a few dollars on acquiring that first visit, because now we're going to go over how we increase the ROI by increasing revenue. The best way to increase revenue is to increase the average order value. I like to send out offers that would entice a group or a couple to come in and visit, multiple people. So family specials work great, and two-person offers work really well also, because you get like people coming in for dates and things like that. So I'm going to show you what happens when we increase the average order value and get a lower cost per lead. Let's dive in. Okay, guys, so we have a little calculator here built out to show us the different ROI that we're going to get based on our lead cost and our average order value. So again, going back to ways to increase the ROI, we want to either lower our lead cost or we need to increase our average order value. So with this, you're going to see the big changes that we'll see in ROI when we do both of them. So first, we have to put some data in here. We can see the only thing we've got right now is this $500 ad spend. So this is going to represent the amount of money that we spend on ads in the first month. We're going to assume that we spend no more money on ads after the first month. We just want to see what kind of return we can expect from 1 month of spending $500 on ads. So when I go in and fill in the lead cost and the average order value, all of these down here that say hashtag div/0 are all formulas that are going to update once we actually give it some data to allow it to do the formula it's built in. So first thing I'm going to do is add in a lead cost. We're going to start with a lead cost of $2.50. This is not a terrible lead cost for restaurants, but not the best. So that's a pretty safe place to start. So let's throw that in there. So we can see when we did that, it let us know that we're going to get 200 leads, which makes sense because we've got 500 in ad spend divided by $2.50 per lead, which gives us 200 leads. And then going down this visits column here, this is how many visits we can expect each month from those original 200 leads. As you can see, the number of visits are going to go down over time because people are going to opt out or unsubscribe from your SMS campaign, which is fine, which is totally expected. But the important thing is that just from getting them in that first month, they're going to keep coming back again and again. So right now, we have no average order value in there. So the revenue shows 0 for everything. Obviously, that's not the case. Let's start with a low average order value. We're going to throw in $20. So when we put in $20, we can see everything updates, and we can see about how many visits we can expect each month, how much revenue that would lead to based on a $20 average order value. And then over on the far right side here, you can see your ROI increasing month over month over month, gradually going from 5.2 in month one all the way up to 31x uh, by the end of the year once all those customers have been coming back in. So 31x is not a bad ROI at all for restaurants, even though we normally are working with pretty tight margins. 31x is still pretty good. But now let's get into how we're going to improve this ROI. So the first way we're going to do it is by dropping that lead cost. So watch what happens as soon as we go from a $2.50 lead cost down to a $2 lead cost. So I'm just going to change this lead cost from $2.50 to $2. Bam. It knocks our ROI from 31 up to almost 39x just by getting a lower lead cost. So again, that is why it is really important for your long term results to make good offers and keep your lead cost as low as possible, so you can get as many people onto your list as possible. So based on these results, you can see after 12 months, we would anticipate about $20,000 in revenue from that $500 original ad spend. So this is basically telling us if you spent $500 every single month, once everything caught up, it would take 6 months to a year. But by spending $500 a month, you could add almost $20,000 a month to your restaurant. So it's not going to happen overnight because the list has to build up and you have to spend 500, each month and keep growing the list. But what happens is the people from the first month keep ordering. The people that get added the second month are ordering, but the people from the first month are still ordering, and it all compounds on top of each other. And eventually, you would get up to about additional 19,400 a month in additional revenue. But let's not stop here. So we went from 31 to 38.8x, which is great, but the real game changer is when we increase this average order value. Right now, it's only at $20. And this is, again, going back to why it's important to increase the average order value by trying to entice group visits, date night visits, things like that, so that you can, you're still spending the same amount on the lead, you're still spending the same amount on sending the text messages out to them. So you might as well try to get as much revenue out of them as possible. So let's watch what happens when we increase this order value from 20 to 30. It goes from 38x to 58.2x. So by decreasing the lead cost from $2.50 down to $2 and increasing the average order value from 20 to 30, we went from originally having a 31x ROI to now having almost double the ROI just by making those two changes. So in this particular case, if you were able to keep this lead cost for the entire time that you were running your ads, if you were running ads for $500 a month and you were able to keep them coming in and an average order value of $30, you would be adding $30,000 a month to your restaurant's revenue. If you spend $500 per month, and then again, it would take probably 6 months or so for everything to catch up and compound and be adding up to that much monthly. But I mean, 58x is an incredible, even in a tight margin industry like the food industry. 58x is, you're not going to do any better than that. So I hope this was a good visual for you guys to see the real difference that those little tweaks can make, whether it's with the lead cost or with the average order value. I would, as you saw, the biggest jump came from that average order value being increased. So that is where I would focus on more than the lead cost, because at a certain point, the lead cost is what it is, right? Your offers can only get so good before you're just giving stuff away. And that's not what we want to do. So I would say get the lead cost down as low as you can, but ultimately that average order value is where we're really gonna get that ROI to climb. So Okay, I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next video.